Hey guys, and I am back with another video. I know it's been a while since my last upload, but I'm back with a rather special one today. I've been looking forward to making this since I got this deck actually, because we're going to be looking at a gold deck of playing cards. It sounds exciting, and it is, so with all that being said, let's get into it. So we're going to jump right in, first of all, with the wooden case that this deck comes in. So it comes in a wooden box, and the box has a lovely shiny finish to it. So very nice just to keep the cards in, stops them getting damaged or anything. And I just put this on my desk like that. So when anyone comes in, they can immediately see gold playing cards, because they've put it on there just so you're 100% sure what's in there, just to really show off that you've got a gold deck. And it's got some nice just the suits on there. Just a nice thing to display and keep the cards in. So we're going to open it up, and this is what you're greeted by. You're greeted by a certificate and the deck. We're going to take a look at the certificate first of all. I can actually get it out of the box. Here we are. So you might be wondering what this is. Now this is a certificate of authenticity, as you can see. It tells you that it's gold foil, and the cards are made from these luxury playing cards produced with 99.9% pure 24 karat gold. So you can tell that this deck is completely legitimate. It's definitely not dodgy at all. It's 99.9% pure gold, so it's probably worth quite a bit of money, to be honest. Yeah, you can show this to people if they come and look at the deck, and they don't believe you. You can give that to them, and they will immediately believe you when you give them that certificate, because it's, as I say, completely legitimate. Moving on to the deck now, this is the card box inside the box. So you can see the design here. They've gone for a sort of £50 note design. Again, just to emphasise how expensive this deck is, you know, because gold, money and all that. They're just really emphasising the link there. You can see a £50 note as the design. Got the Queen, and it's quite reflective, because obviously gold is a very shiny metal, so obviously it's going to reflect all light, because as we said, 99.9% pure gold, so it's quite hard to get you guys a good view on it, so hopefully you guys can see that. But that's the design printed on both sides, and then the sides just have just sort of a gold finish on them. And the box is plastic. It's made of plastic, obviously coated in gold. But nothing more to say about that really. I'm going to open it up and take a look at the deck inside. I think I might just switch an extra light on so you guys can see the deck more clearly. When I first opened this deck, I thought the back design might be just a little more standard, just to show off the gold and not be a £50 note. But they've continued the theme with the box throughout the entire deck. As you can see, every single card has that design on. Just give you a close up. And yeah, they're just really emphasising, really going for that money link and how expensive these cards are. Because obviously this back design here, it doesn't look cheesy at all. Doesn't, you know, it looks completely legitimate, and this back design really screams that this deck is super expensive and worth a lot of money. So if you show this to anyone, they're going to know that, you know, you're a serious guy with this deck. So all sides of every card have been dipped in gold, as you can see. So gold throughout the entire deck, everywhere. There isn't 1 millimeter of just plain plastic card left. It's all gold. And if you flip the deck over, you can see what all the cards look like on this side. There's a glittery effect on the face side. So as you can see, all these cards sort of glimmer and glitter in the light, which is quite cool. Again, screaming how expensive they are and how exquisite these cards are to anyone that you show them to. So we're just going to take a closer look at some of the face cards. So we'll start with the important ones like the Jokers and the Aces. Alright, so this is the Joker, quite standard, but it's very nice in the light, shimmers very nicely. And here we have the Ace of Spades. I actually think that this ace is quite nice. There's some quite nice artwork on here. Big SP in the middle, Not sure what that stands for or means, but then underneath it says the Lord of the Cards. So maybe that's referring to you, sort of the Lord of the Cards, because with this deck and how expensive it is and how rich you'd have to be to buy a 99.9% pure gold deck, you're obviously going to have to be a rich lord, so maybe that's referring to you, who knows. But that's that. Let's take a look at some of the other cards. Here we got a court card, the Jack of Hearts. So they're all pretty similar to just standard design you get on any deck, really. There's not that many differences in how the cards are actually designed on the faces. It's just sort of the gold glittering effect that's on every single one. Of course, these cards are bridge size, so that's why they look quite small compared to a poker size deck. So the handling is a little bit different, and I'll show you an example side by side. So same length, but it's the width that's different. Okay, so you can see poker size are bigger. So I've seen quite a few different versions of this deck. You can get an American version where it has a $100 bill as the back design. So instead of the Queen, it's Benjamin Franklin, I believe, on the $100 bill. Is that right? I'm sure my American fans can tell me. But being the proud Brit that I am, we've got to have the Queen of England on there and have and the £50 note. So that's why I've got this version. But there are other versions out there if you wanted to get your currency. So now we've looked at the design, we're going to look at the handling and some things like that. So firstly, can this deck fan? Alright, we'll try some flourishes with it instead, maybe. So yeah, can revolution fine. One-handed fan is awful, as we've seen. I'll try some shuffles, do a bridge. Okay. This deck it handles differently because it has a plastic finish. The cards are plastic, sorry. So you can hear it in the sound probably. You guys might even be able to tell at home. But it feels completely different to a paper deck as this deck right here. And it just handles completely differently. So you can see if I did a fan with this deck, very easy, very simple to do. Fan with this deck, it just doesn't work. The cards have a completely different feel to them, and it's everything about them just seems to be just feels strange, you know. They riffle quite easily, and you can spring them, but they just don't handle as well at all. I really wouldn't use this deck for anything like to practice with or perform with, really, because they're gonna let you down, I think. All right, so I don't want to be unfair to this deck, so we're gonna try and do at least something useful with it. Try a few different effects, so maybe we'll try and see how an Erdnase goes. Surely this will be, yeah, Erdnase is fine. But then again, if you can't do an Erdnase with a deck of cards, then it's not really a deck of cards, is it? There is actually one thing you can do with this deck which you can't do with any other regular pack of cards which hasn't been altered, and that is you can cut the deck and immediately, well, I say immediately, it takes a minute, but you can pretty much after a few seconds see what card you're holding. So in this case, this is the 8 of Spades. Okay, and that's because this deck is so reflective. You can see the reflection of the cards on the next card down. So I'll do it again. So you can see here they've got the 7 of Spades. Maybe I'll do one, see if you guys can notice. You see that? 4 of Diamonds, right? It's pretty easy, isn't it? How easy that would be for spectators to work out, who knows? But that's the one useful thing that I can find to do with this deck. So I thought I'd put it in the video. Alright, I think we've looked at that deck long enough now, so I'm just going to give you a quick summary. The handling of this deck is awful. The back design is awful. If you were going to do an effect with this deck, it would probably turn out to be awful. So you might be very inclined to think that overall this deck is awful. However, despite its many flaws, there's just something about this deck which makes me absolutely adore it. If you gave me the choice of having the next Theory 11, the next Illusionist, the next Verts deck, which would all handle brilliantly, have far better designs, just be superior to this deck in every single way, I'd still take this one every single time. And that's just because this one, it's just more fun. There's just something about it that makes me smile, and I love that in a deck. So, in a way, I love it. Despite how awful this deck is, I love it. At the end of the day, this deck is not a deck you buy to practice with. It's not a deck that you buy to perform with. It's a deck you buy to have fun with. This has been Deception. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, guys, don't forget to leave a like, favourite, comment and subscribe. If you haven't checked out my social media and you want to keep up to date with the channel, links to all that are in the description down below. If you want to check out the website for some exclusive content, you can certainly do that as well. If you haven't checked out the merchandise, again, first link in the description will take you over to the site. And if you haven't seen some other videos I've made, some more of my content is appearing on screen now, so if you check that out, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching. As always, guys, this has been Deception. I'll see you later.